last week we went briefly over what is the Torah, and that it is the sword for our armor. We were given a great example by Yeshua and Jesus on using our sword against our enemy, the devil. Remembering he was tempted in the wilderness, he really put the enemy under his feet by using the sword, the word of Yehovah. We have a lot to learn if we're going to use our sword correctly to be able to fight the battle that has been laid before us. Welcome to Torah Chat Points. I'm Patrice Robinson with Reconcile the Kingdom, where we're becoming in harmony of the whole word of truth. Thank you for joining me on today, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button as a show of your support. Now, let's continue more about the Torah and its design. For many of us, it is well known as the Pentateuch, the Old Testament, the law. So what does that really mean? Well, the Pentateuch means the 5 books of Moses, just the fivefold. It neglects the true meaning of what those books are. Pentateuch just tells you that there's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just 5 books that Moses has written. When you use the Hebrew foundation as the Torah, you will get the true meaning of what and why you have these 5 books and what it was written for, which is the instructions on how to prevent someone from missing the mark. The Torah holds 5 books of instructions of righteousness that leads us straight to Yeshua, Jesus. Starting from the beginning, Genesis, the first of the 5. Genesis means Bereshit, in the beginning. But in English, Greek, is described as the book of generations. The author of the book is Moses, and no one disputes that until people start saying, well, he is from Egypt and he knew all this information from other folk tales and he just put it all together. So my answer to that is that we was once one people together, and that before things were changed, we was under Nimrod, and then the Tower of Babel was built, and then different languages was up on us, and then we separated, which means that every culture left with the understanding of Noah's Ark and also Genesis and other beginnings. And so this is why you will find the different cultures, their stories are similar to one another. Now, history's changed when they separated and they decided to give the credit of creation to their own God of their choice. Now, again, this is why you hear the stories very similar. Now, Yeshua and Yehovah decided to have a conversation with Moses and told Moses, so this is how it really happened. And so I need you to write it down so you can tell the people. So this is how Moses got his information. The approximate date of the 5 books is approximately 4000 to 1500 BC, and it starts with the creation until the passing of Moses, and then Joshua begins to give the orders to help the people cross over to the promised land. Now, this is a good point most people don't know. So just for your information, did you know that Joshua's name is Yahushua, which means salvation? It's the same name meaning of Yeshua. Now, why didn't people change his name to Joshua instead of Jesus? Well, enough said. The location of the land is Mesopotamia, where you will find Abraham going to the land of Canaan, which is the promised land for his future generations, descendants who eventually would inherit the land. Genesis holds lots of beginnings: the creation, the plan of salvation, the human race, the Hebrew people. Now, Genesis has two segments. The first segment is prehistory, is Adam to Abraham. The second segment in the history is the patriarchs, is the call of Abraham to the passing of Joseph. Now, I did notice a very interesting interaction between the Hebrew people in Egypt. I found a lot of that in Genesis. Now, the second of the 5 is Exodus. The Hebrew name is Shemot, meaning names. These are the names. The book sets a way for redemption. So it took from 430 years after the death of Joseph, and it continues on from there. Now, if you really want to know the meaning of redemption, it's important to study the book of Exodus. The people of Israel went from learning how to be redeemed to learning about the one who redeemed them. The book gives us an understanding of the continued miracles of Yehovah, from bringing not only his people, but millions of others together, grafted into Israel. Yehovah desires to dwell with his people, so he had them to build the tabernacle. Yehovah have always desired to dwell with his people. And so he gives us many ways to remain in contact with him from Genesis on. He brings his people from slavery to kingship to priesthood. And well, we'll find out when we get there. But what a mighty God we serve. The third book, Leviticus. The Hebrew name is vira, meaning and he called. This was a time where the children of Israel was at Mount Sinai. The book teaches the people how to offer the offerings and the sacrifices. This book is the book of priesthood, and it really teaches holiness. And it's all about the result of the sin that we committed while we were inside on our journey. It gives us an understanding of the price that needs to be paid. The animal sacrifices were only a temporary fix. Their blood would never be able to pay the full price. Now, the fourth book is called Numbers. The Hebrew name is Bamidbar, meaning in the wilderness. This book is the book of census of the tribes and the arrangement of the camp. This book covers about 39 years of Israel time, from 1444 to 1405 BC. This book can be divided in 3 sections. The old generation that came from Egypt, the mistake of the old generation, and the new generation that gets prepared to inherit the land of Canaan. Finally, but not least, the book of Deuteronomy, the 5th book. In Hebrew, the book means these are the words, from Devarim. The best way I can describe this book is the reminders on how to follow the instructions given by Yehovah. It is Moses getting the people prepared to cross over to the promised land, on how to behave when you get to this promised land. He is saying, do not add and do not subtract from what you were taught from these words, from this book, that you're going to go and take along with you. And it gives us all the instructions that we need to follow to be prosperous and to conquer the land that has been inherited, given to us by Yehovah. So basically, to stay on course. I want to let you know, during this time, we will spend time in the Torah. And I think the best Bible to use is the King James Version. Why is that? Well, just in case we decide to do a word search, I find it simpler. I found it easy to get that 1845 version that came from the 1611 version, give us closer to what was translated from then. So I advise everyone to have a King James Bible. Now, on this journey that we are embarking, you have a part to it too. And your part will be to read and to study for yourself, to show yourself approved. It is, I always say, you have to search the scriptures for yourself. It's not just to be coming and watching this YouTube channel, although I appreciate it and thank you for your support and thank you for hitting the subscribe button. But it's also important for you to understand the word of Yehovah yourself. So don't forget, I upload on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock p.m. and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Thank you for joining the Torah Chat Points with me on today. I look forward to seeing you on Saturdays at 10 a.m. and next Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Thank you.